Good morning. Welcome to another edition of What's Happening at Phoenix and another update on our More Food, Less Space program campaign. A lot of you haven't seen our um, property up Wing and a Prayer Farm. This property is approximately 8 times our property in Lawrenceville. And it's going to act as an experiment of sorts for us. We're still going to do a lot of things that pertain to small-scale agriculture. This was literally covered with high weeds and all kind of garbage. Oh, it's about a week ago, and we had a guy come in and bush hog it. So if you can see very closely, Tiffany and Gwendolyn have outlined basically what turned into a natural path when we had our work day here. People just found this way to come from the back of the house down to the property. So we're basically going to get this covered with cardboard, get it mulched down to get all the weeds down, and then we're going to start with blueberries and berry bushes on each side, and then probably expand out stuff like fruit trees. So this is the path coming down, one of the paths coming down the property, the other one being the area that we actually drive in. This is the very first bed that we did, and I'm going to tie this all in together with our More Food, Less Space campaign in a minute. And please bear with me. I don't have my walker and I don't have my cane, and I got a good report from the doctor yesterday, but he'd probably kill me if he saw me out here walking today. So I'm going to do the best I can. These tomatoes are just about done. As I explained to you, if you watch the other videos, we grow a lot of heirlooms. And heirlooms, unfortunately, are susceptible to all types of nasty diseases and stuff. And we know that, which is why we plant a lot of them. We're actually cultivating and taking cuttings from some really healthy plants over at Phoenix Gardens to start a second crop. This area we may just go ahead and plow in and do some cover cropping. This is where our artichokes were, sort of got away from us, but like we said, we wanted the artichokes to grow wild and grow natural. We had actually let these go all the way to seed, so they look kind of ugly now. But actually, now that I'm standing here, I want to see if they have any seed pods in them, because I can save them, and I'm not seeing any, but there must be a way to get seed out of these guys, because they have to reproduce each year, but that's a project for another day. So we'll go ahead and get this all cleaned up. As you can see, we put this cardboard down to basically act as a smothering layer. There's another artichoke right there. Next year is the first year we'll probably start to cut them to actually sell and eat at market. And here's one that I want to show you. They're actually very beautiful flowers. The artichoke is just the immature flower bud. And we're out pretty early, but Tiffany said that when she was out here, these things were actually loaded with bees, and we like bees. This is good. So this has been our tomato area. Next year, I don't know what we'll do here, but it won't be tomatoes because now we have room to rotate our crops. And the other thing we're going to look to do is downsize our space. So someone in an urban environment may not be this lucky to have, for example, this tomato bed is, if I'm not mistaken, 40 by 100. May not have enough space to dedicate to tomatoes, but what we may do is do a mixed crop of some time and show how you can do different types of things in a space this size. Moving on over here, like I said, the guy did a really good job of bush hogging and getting this all cleaned up for us because we've got some great plants at the property. Tiffany and Gwendolyn put up the first of our compost bins. We are compost fanatics. Pretty much anything that we use, the majority of stuff we use to fertilize your food is compost. So we just take these compost bins. In this case, Tiffany just used some zip ties to just get it hold it in place so she can put some stuff in it. But we'll probably come back and reinforce it with some 2x4s. And basically what we'll do is we'll make layers of them, because the way compost works is you get this guy filled. Once it's filled, You turn it over into the next one, and then the next one, and so on and so forth. Not quite sure what we're going to do with this space. We're thinking goats for that outer layer, but we're not sure yet. So that's something we're still in the planning stages. I do know what we're going to do with that side over there, and I'll explain more to it as we get on this side. Gwendolyn got me up. You know, I really thought she was bringing me up here for some kind of romantic date, and she actually wanted me to, she knew I couldn't work, but she actually wanted me up here while she did some work. And what she's doing this morning is picking these little guys called papaya squash. And papaya squash is small, looks like a lemon. You can cook it like any typical summer squash. They're actually great for stuffing. So you cut this top off, and then go ahead and scoop it out, make whatever stuffing you think is appropriate, and have at it. And as you can see, the bushes are loaded with them. So she's in here trying to get them before they get too big. Whenever you see giant zucchini or really big yellow squash at market, while they're still usable for a lot of dishes, that's not really what you want. And generally that's a sign that they've been left out too long. They've got too much water and they've basically swelled up. Gwen? Oh, here, I'll leave this down here. There's a basket right there. Right where? It's right here. Man, bending. Yeah. You'd be surprised. The rules from my doctor was no bending, no twisting, no lifting. You'd be surprised that it changes your life. This is the second area of beds that we put in. And we did this area really in a hurry. This property came to us out of the clear blue sky. So we didn't really have time to amend the soil and do things that we would normally do. And as you can see, stuff back here is suffering. It's not really growing. It's very heavy clay material. So I think what we're going to do, well, we're thinking of doing one of two things. We're either just going to come in and cover crop this, and for those of you who don't know what cover crop in, we bring in crops that help build up the soil fertility, like clovers or buckwheat or any of those types of crops, and let them grow and then till them into the soil. So we may do that. The other thing is, if you watch the first part of our the first part of our project update, this is actually where we're putting the very large commercial aquaponic system. So that 30,000, 25,000 gallon swimming pool is coming up here, and it may be able to handle 2 or 3 of those tunnels, 90-foot tunnels. It all depends on how big the beds are that we're going to put into them and what we're going to grow. But that's what's coming back here, and it's a perfect spot for it. It'll get some sunshine, but it's also butted up against the woods, so it will help provide us with some barrier against animals. So that's where it's coming. We can still use some donations. Like I said, a lot of this we're doing out of our pocket, as we always have. A lot of people don't know it, but between Phoenix Gardens and the Lawrenceville Farmers Market, Gwendolyn and I pretty much funded both those operations out of our pockets, so we could really use some community help to pull this off, because this would be a crowning jewel, not only in Lawrenceville, but in the Southeast as well, because everybody talks about aquaponics, but not too many people do it. And you can see Rick came back here, got this all bush hog for us, and it looks really good. And one of our big things now, I've probably got about 4 more solid weeks of recovery where I've got to take it easy. So there's not too much I can do, but what I can do is sit down and draw plans and draw sketches and take dimensions and that type of thing. So on that side, I said we don't know what we were going to do. You like trees for a number of reasons for animals. It provides them with shade and shelter and all that good stuff. And because of that, this area is going to be designated as our poultry area. And we're putting poultry over here for a number of reasons. Excuse me if I sound a little bit out of breath, I'm sorry. But we're putting poultry over here for a number of reasons. First of all, these big old trees that you see right here, they are pecan trees, and they cast an incredible amount of shade. You can see all the shade up in this area right here. We had some meat chickens in a small little area in the farm that we didn't think got that hot at all, and we had 11 chickens drop dead from the heat one day. In an area like this, they will be perfect. You see how dark it is? It'll be well into the afternoon before the sun gets over here, and it still won't get sunny because you'll have the trees this way protecting it. So the chickens will get to peck around. We're going to build a barrier around this entire compound and separate it into laying hens and into meat birds. And we actually just put a deposit on two Great Pyrenees puppies. And for those of you who don't know what they are, what's known as a breed of livestock guardian dogs. And the idea is you raise them up with the animal that they're going to be guarding, and they sort of become like family, and they'll protect them. So they'll be out here actually living with the chickens to help us protect them. Because part of sustainability means if you have chickens out here, you don't want to blast every single fox that you see, or you don't want to poison every predator. Because let's face it, they're a very important part of the natural balance of life. So we'll bring our dogs out here and they'll help keep things together. So this is essentially what we're going. Like I said, all the way back there is where those larger high tunnels have been going. It's been estimated that with proper conditions and with proper care, just tilapia alone out of that large pool will maybe able to get 20,000 pounds of fish. We're still running. There's so many variables that I have to learn about, but we're excited, and I hope you'll be excited as well. If you can see right here, you can see there's an actual pecan nut that fell down. So those of you who are definitely our CSA members, but even some of our market customers, will get some pecans this fall. I even found someone who'll crack them for us. So this has been another edition of What's Happening at Phoenix. Sustainable food for a sustainable community, and sponsor of the More Food, Less Space campaign. Because we believe the world is shrinking and that it's going to take creative ideas to grow more food in less space. Thanks a lot, and come visit us.